monumental problem has been building for the last 10 to 15 years among teens. According to NPR, 1 in 3 teenage girls have contemplated suicide in the past year. In that same time period, depression rates have also doubled. Many wonder, why now? The answer is very simple. Social media has taken over. The use of social media is detrimental to teen well-being. Therefore, teens should have limited time on social media. It is important for us to understand the negative effects that social media has on teens. The well-being of youth should be a priority to us to create a healthy society. As a teen, I have seen firsthand the negative effects of social media. The widespread overuse of social media causes serious mental health, physical health, and communication problems among teens. According to an article titled Teens and Social Media Use by Mayo Clinic staff, a 2019 study of over 12,000 13 to 16-year-olds in England found that using social media over 3 times a day predicted poor mental health and well-being in teens. The first way that social media impacts mental health poorly is through anxiety and depression. A 2021 article by Anne Albano titled Is Social Media Affecting Teen Mental Health? Explains that social media use causes anxiety and depression. Teens with anxiety and depression tend to spend even more time on social media and reduce face-to-face contact. A study of over 450 teens found that greater social media use, nighttime social media use, and emotional investment in social media were linked to higher levels of anxiety and depression. The next way that social media affects mental health is through the questioning of body image and eating disorders. Social media platforms, especially those that are picture-based, create the ability for teens to compare themselves to others. According to How Social Media's Toxic Content Sends Teens into a Dangerous Spiral by Karen Felcher in 2021, apps like Instagram can draw vulnerable teens into a dangerous spiral of negative social comparison and make them unrealistic about ideal appearance. She also warns that social media can cause eating disorders and urges parents to limit their children's use of social media and block disturbing content. The last way that social media affects mental health in teens is through cyberbullying and addiction. The increased use of social media results in more possibility and more exposure that can create cyberbullying. In a journal titled Investigating the Differential Effects of Social Media Addiction in 2021, Hallie Pontus' study states that social media use can activate the same reward centers that most drugs do, causing it to become very addicting. So now that I have covered the mental health, social media also has a negative effect on physical health. Social media causes inadequate sleep. Teens become obsessed with it, and it causes them to sleep less and become more tired. In a 2023 article titled 10 Things to Know About How Social Media Affects Teens' Brains, Corey Turner uses research that suggests more than half of teens are on screens right before bed, and it keeps them from getting sleep they need. This is also a direct cause of poor performance in school. Social media also causes a lack of physical activity. Newport Academy, in their 2022 article titled Effects of Social Media on Teens, argued that scrolling social media on phones or other devices meant that teens sat for longer periods of time and exercised way less. This also causes them to miss out on the impact of exercise in mental health, so it can be a detriment to both mental and physical health. Not only does social media negatively affect teens' mental and physical health, but it also hurts their communication skills. It harms the way that teens develop their skills. How Using Social Media Affects Teenagers by Rachel Emke in 2023 explains that if teens don't get practice relating to people and getting their needs met in person, many of them will grow up to be anxious about talking to others as adults. Healthy Me PA's 2018 article titled Impact of Social Media on Teens states that more screen time means less time to communicate face-to-face. For teens, it will become harder to learn body language and decipher the tone of voice. Relying on social media or texting can isolate and prevent teens from developing needed social skills. The time teens spend on social media has increased drastically over the past 10 to 15 years. This has led to an increase in mental health, physical health, and communication problems among teens. It is vital to limit the amount of time teens spend on social media. It is our responsibility to help our youth. Encourage teens in your community to decrease the time they spend on social media and inform parents of the negative effects. Remember that the suicide rate among teens has doubled in the past 10 to 15 years. This is a result of social media. Let's save the youth from our trap.